what a great scene outside the building. 10,000 or so Raptors fans gathered just to be part of the experience. We the North, they say there. And Jonas Valanciunas got the guys from up north going early on. He scored their first 8 points. Kyle Lowry, pull-up three there. They're going crazy outside. Lowry had 11 in the quarter, but here come the Nets, and their big guards were a problem.
Well, yes, they were. Darren Williams, and even though Sean Livingston was in some foul trouble, they made those plays. But they just have so many guys going well, and that forward position Isaiah talked about before we got on air, Amir Johnson didn't do anything to make Jason Kidd have to play bigger.
DeMar DeRozan 0 for the first half. On the other end, it's Darren Williams, transition three, and the Nets go on an 18-2 run.
I thought Williams came out and set the tone for the Nets offensively.
Gravis Vasquez, you know what? Good or bad, stuff is going to happen when Gravis Vasquez enters the game.
I mean, good today. I mean, he came out, brought them energy, and there's KG and Kyle Lowry. That's a good matchup. Big old pit bull and a little pit bull going at it.
Now, Valanciunas was called for the foul on the screen. After the whistle, Garnett pushes Lowry, and he gets teed up. Did you agree?
Yeah.
First scoreless first half in Garnett's playoff career. Williams with a floater. Joe Johnson from Paul Pierce inside. And Brooklyn up 50-46 at the half. Midway through the third quarter, the shot clocks go out. Power issues, secondary clocks on the floor, but they didn't work either. What are we doing?
Can we do two-line layups? Two-line layups so we can get warmed up?
You're not serious, are you?
Well, my guys are older.
Great line from Jason Kidd. So here's what we're doing now. The public address announcer now has to count down the shot clock verbally for the players.
And to me, advantage, experienced vet guys. Been through it, gonna play through it. Young guys, it could be psychologically messing with them, but give Vasquez a lot of credit. He kept playing in Kyle Lowry. What an effort for those two guys.
He knocks down the three there. Brooklyn's lead is down to 5. Let's go to the fourth. Joe Johnson can't connect on the other end. Lowry to Patrick Patterson. And the Raptors aren't necessarily a running team, but in this matchup, this is maybe an area where they can take advantage.
Well, this is where they need to score because in their half-court offense, they don't really have the go-to guys like a Pierce or a Garnett at the end of the game. So they have to score in transition. They have to create turnovers, and they have to score in the ways that we see that they're scoring right here.
Great block by Patterson on one end, led to the Vasquez three on the other, and they take the lead at 76-75, and that's when the crusty old veterans take over. Joe Johnson, the floater, Kevin Garnett, that was his first bucket of the game, and then Paul Pierce, 9 straight points to put it away.
And doesn't it seem like Pierce and Garnett are moving just a little quicker right now? They're moving just a little faster, have a little bit more pep in their step.
Look at the step.
Yeah,
watch him.
It's like the lights finally came on the last 5 minutes of the game. That's when they get the adrenaline. That's when they get the juice. That's when they get excited.
And normally late in games, it's Joe Johnson putting things away for the Nets, but it was clearly Pierce in this game as Brooklyn wins it 94-87. Pierce scored 15, 9 of those in that late game stretch. Johnson had 24, 8 boards, 4 assists along the way. D. Will also went for 24. And Lowry, well, the Raptors would have been lost without him because he was aggressive throughout the game. With DeMar DeRozan, their all-star, going 3 of 13. Lowry's 22 were huge, and Vasquez off the bench, obviously big points for him.
But let's take a look at the highlights of tonight's game. Kevin Garnett, the interesting way to fire himself up before the game. And then Sean Livingston, no look to KG. And Brooklyn out to an 8-1 lead. Valanciunas throwing up a shot as he falls to the ground. On the ground, gets his own rebound, kicks it out to Lowry, and then Terrence Ross, who hits. Ross's only basket of the game. And Kyle Lowry to Valanciunas. Boy, he's done a great job in 2 games.
He sure has. They had that 22 rebound advantage apart because he had 14.
DeMar DeRozan off a main screen, long pass from Lowry, hits the jumper. And then DeRozan again. 3 of 13 shooting in game 1. Huge bounce back.
And that's a tough shot, but again, he was shooting against the shot clock. He had to make it, but again, he gathered himself, got his feet set, and knocked down an easy fadeaway jump shot.
Yeah, tough shot from D. Will. Back the other way, down the middle of the lane. 45-39, though, Toronto at the half. And then Williams to a wide-open Kevin Garnett ties the game at 49. Later in the third quarter, Amir Johnson, quiet relatively in game 1, gets that circus shot to somehow fall. What was this? Shades of Jordan.
Sometimes.
Back to the basket. That was impressive. And then Joe Johnson just going off in the third quarter. He can do this. Joe hits that corner 3. Brooklyn is up by 3. Joe Johnson crossing, penetrating, pumping, and getting to the basket. 63-58, Brooklyn is in front. Gravis Vasquez, baseline and dishing to DeRozan, who had the crowd on their feet. Brooklyn is up by just 1. Andre Blatch to Sean Livingston. So long is Livingston. 2-hand slam. It's a 1-point game. This is how it was down the stretch, back and forth. DeRozan and the foul. And more of the All-Star at the line. He misses the free throw. He's going to get it back and take it to the basket, and this time the offensive foul, and he went to the bench. That was his 5th.
He went to the bench with that 5th foul, but attacking the rim, not settling solely for jump shots, opened it up for him.
And this was weird. That was DeRozan by himself during that timeout, not in the huddle.
Probably had to calm down, compose himself.
Okay, all right. Paul Pierce hits the jumper and 1, and then DeRozan. He's composed himself.
Yeah, he was just getting himself ready for that moment, Vince, just getting his thoughts together.
And then working on Joe Johnson. Little space, and he hits again.
But the balance in the attack puts your defender on your heels, because now they have to respect the fact that you may blow by them.
Right, now Paul Pierce, terrific drive to the basket, another and 1, and putting a scare into the crowd. But off this inbound, Amir Johnson gets loose, shakes Deron Williams, and stuffs it home.
Well, yeah, that's just a bad mistake. You look at the angle that Deron Williams had, you force a guy back towards the 3-point line, and he let a guy get an easy cut to the basket. That's unexcusable.
Look at the celebration, confetti, the whole bit. The place is going wild.
30,000 people outside watching the game?
I guess so.
Oh, my goodness.
The mayor was there, so you know it's a party.
Well, the mayor got in the building. You know it was a party. Good one, man.
195. Toronto is a winner to even the series at 1 game apiece. DeRozan, 17 of his 30 points came in the fourth quarter. And again, doing that with foul trouble. Great balanced scoring for the Toronto Raptors as they head to Brooklyn for Friday's Game 3, all tied up.
DeMar DeRozan with 30 in Game 2. He would have 30 again in Game 3. And there is Paul Pierce coming off a lackluster Game 2. Of course, he was the fourth quarter hero in Game 1. Kevin Garnett with the nice find to Joe Johnson, Rick.
Nice interior passing. When you can get those in the paint, points in the paint, that's good for Brooklyn.
DeMar DeRozan finds the free throw line and scores right in Deron Williams' face. DeMar, 8 of 22 from the field. There's Kyle Lowry for 3.
Well, DeMar been doing that all game. He's getting into the paint, making a little medium-range jump shot. And on the second thing, he found Kyle Lowry for the wide-open three-point shot.
Kevin Garnett going Bill Russell on us with the player-coach vibe.
I love it. Kevin Garnett is like another coach out on the floor. He's teaching Mason Plumlee. He's inspiring the guys right here. I know Jason Kidd's glad to have him on the bench with him.
Andre Blatch down low, off the bench with 12 points in 18 minutes for the Nets. Patterson with the miss. Deron Williams the other way.
I tell you, those transition baskets are very key, especially in the tight playoff game with the Toronto Raptors. You got to get easy baskets.
What do you like about DeRozan's game?
DeRozan came out again. He came out aggressive. I think he got the first game jitters out of his system. In the last 2 games, he coming out playing aggressive and attacking everything at the basket.
The truth got cooking in the second quarter.
We have seen this many a times through the years, but Paul Pierce, he has that ability to take over a game and get up and finish above the rim.
Way to go, old man.
Like it's 2000.
Rick, he can still do that?
He can still do that.
Terrence Ross has had a tough series, loses it here. Watch KG get down on the floor. It's like WWE out there, and then KG with the primal scream, and he's popping the jersey as well.
Biggest play of the game right there. I mean, when you got your oldest guy on the team diving for loose balls, getting all the 50-50 balls, and getting up and grabbing his jersey, you got to get excited as a player.
Darren Williams then nails the jumper. You see the bench are up. The crowd is going crazy. That's at the end of near the end of the first half. Brooklyn was up 8. They led by 4 at the break. That's Rihanna, obviously drawing some attention at Barclays Center, and Darren Williams puts it in.
I love the Darren Williams we're seeing here in the playoffs. Aggressive, attacking, looking for a shot. He looks like he's playing the best basketball of the season here in the postseason.
DeRozan with the soft lay-in made it a 5-point game. Mason Plumlee to Darren Williams to Joe Cool.
How about that play by Darren? Gets in the paint, could have made an easy layup, knows where Joe Johnson is on the floor, and knocks down the 3-point shot.
Paul Pierce, I heard a tweet, get him to the line, Rick.
Isolation, no one's better than the truth, taking it to the basket, but he can also hit that jumper outside.
And NBA Commissioner Adam Silver in the house, loving it. Sitting right beside Turner Sports President David Levy. Checking out a ball game on a Friday night in Brooklyn sounds like a great idea. Joe Johnson, the floater, Nets up 13, and then D. Will to Joe Johnson, Nets up 15, their largest lead.
There you go again. D. Will could have easily took that 3-point shot. He had it going, but finds a great player in Joe Johnson, and he knocks it down.
And that and one by Kyle Lowry, captain 8-0 Raptors run. They're right back in it, down 7. Now, DeMar DeRozan at the line. Misses, but Kevin Garnett called for a foul on Jonas Valanciunas, sending JV to the line.
This is a big call. I'm not entirely sure I would have called this here at the end of the game, but certainly it gave some momentum to Toronto as they tried to get closer to the game.
Valanciunas at 1 out of 2. Darren Williams drives. Gravis Vasquez disagreed, got called for a technical foul. D. Will made the tech free throw, split the others. Brooklyn up 6. Now under a minute to go, 40.7 to be exact. And Darren Williams going to the line. Rick, off with the first. How about that second one?
Second one, he looked like he was just pulling that string just a little bit, took a little bit off. But like Rip says, you keep shooting them and make sure nobody's around, make sure you make them.
Okay, so now it's a 4-point game, and watch what DeMar DeRozan does. He drives, he hangs, he hits, plus the foul. He would make the free throw. We have a 1-point game.
Big time play by DeRozan. I mean, he put his head down, went to the basket, got contact, knocked it down, and knocked down the free throw.
And they're going crazy at Maple Leaf Square up in Toronto, and then Kyle Lowry called for the foul against Sean Livingston. And Lowry fouled out, got bloodied in the process. Livingston made the first, missed the second, and Blatch would be called for a foul on Patrick Patterson on the rebound. So Patterson at the line, a chance to tie, and he missed the first, Rick.
Boy, it gets tight. Pressure bust a pipe right there. You get that ball there, you got to make it.
Oh, I missed them both. Out of bounds off of Landry Fields. They would review this, and the play would be upheld. So Brooklyn ball, and Rick, they get it into the truth.
Gotta give it.
The truth steps to the line, and what did he do?
The truth will set you free.
He went bang, bang, and the Brooklyn Nets win it 102-98. They lead this series 2-1. Johnson with 29, Pierce with 18, Williams with 22. What a ball game. Yet another thriller between these two Atlantic Division teams.
The Nets looking to take a commanding 3-1 advantage over the Raptors. Game 4 back in Brooklyn, where the momentum's certainly on the side of Paul Pierce and the Nets, but they got to try and slow down DeMar DeRozan, who scored 30 in each of the last 2. Did they account for Kyle Lowry playing banged up but playing like a man on a mission? Lowry hitting that one from the other side of the Brooklyn Bridge. Raptors drop a 35 spot in the Nets in the first quarter, and DeMar DeRozan equally as hot. With DeRozan 20 points in the first half on 7 of 12 shooting. DeRozan was nearly unstoppable over the first 2 quarters. DeRozan and Toronto would lead the Nets by as many as 17 in the first half. But here comes Paul Pierce as the Nets respond with a 14-4 run to end the first half. Pierce and company trailing 51-44 at the break. Mikhail Prokhorov, Nets owner, hoping they can complete the comeback, and they would certainly try here by scoring the first 8 points of the second half. An extended 23-4 run by the Nets would ultimately see them take the lead. And just as the Nets were hot, the Raptors were ice cold. The Raptors start the third 1 of 16 from the field, even when they got second and third opportunities and fourth opportunities, they couldn't get it to go down. Toronto finishes the third shooting 19% as they get outscored by the Nets 23-16 in the third. Now the final seconds of the third, off the Livingston missed free throw. Mirza Teletovic fights for it, chucks it up, and buries it. So the Nets, who are then down 2, see the game get tied with a little dramatic effort there by Teletovic. In the fourth quarter, it is Paul Pierce helping the Nets turn defense into offense. But check this out. At 77-73 with 6:12 to go, that would be it for Brooklyn. The rest of the way, it's all Raptors. They respond with a 14-2 run. Jonas Valanciunas there. Rivas Vasquez, couple of steps behind the line there. It's 83-79. And Brooklyn just couldn't get out of their own way. Maybe that 17-point deficit, which they overcame, expended too much energy. Here, the illegal screen called on Kevin Garnett. And it wouldn't end there. Paul Pierce gets called for the offensive foul. Nets had trouble. They couldn't convert. They had trouble keeping the basketball, committing 6 turnovers in the fourth, and they did that all while holding DeMar DeRozan to just 4 second-half points. But Kyle Lowry was the man. Check out Lowry going right at Garnett. The sky hook. Brooklyn gets outscored 20-12 in the fourth quarter. And the Raptors even up the series and end a 13-game road playoff losing streak. And they do it by committing a series low for the Raptors, just 12 turnovers. Game 5 back in Toronto on Wednesday.
Following an 8-point win in Brooklyn, the Toronto Raptors have evened the series at 2 games apiece as they head back to Canada, looking to take advantage of their restored home court advantage. We start you off in the second quarter. Kyle Lowry, warm from distance, 6 of 9 from 3 on the game. Also getting to the rim, less than 20 seconds to go in the half. That's Kyle Lowry getting the bucket. And then 2 seconds left. Kyle Lowry off glass somehow goes down. He had 21 points in the first half alone. The Raptors led it by 18 at the break. The count, 62-44. It's a 26-4 run to end the second quarter. To the third quarter we go. Joe Johnson just putting his Nets on his back, working in the post on DeMar DeRozan, and that softly goes down. He scored 18 of Brooklyn's 25 points in the third quarter. There he is outside, knocking down a triple, but Toronto still leads it by 20 at this point. Kyle Lowry and the Raptors just not letting up. Lowry outside knocks down a triple. It's the first time Toronto has won a third quarter in this series. They won it 29-25. They lead at 83-57, but here comes Brooklyn on an amazing comeback. Joe Johnson driving to the basket, sinking it. He had 30 points on the game. Then it's Darren Williams with the steal, and Darren Williams spry on the other end, throwing that one down. He had 13 points. Dwayne Casey calls a timeout. It's a 15-point game. He's trying to fire up his squad. These are the playoffs. Later, fourth quarter, still, obviously, Joe Johnson inside, laying it in. Then off a Raptors turnover, Joe Johnson hits a 3. Check out the score before the 3. It's a 3-point game. It's no longer a 3-point game. Joe Johnson evens this thing up at 101. How would the Raptors respond? Brooklyn trying to steal one on the road. Gravis Vasquez outside, pures a 3. Toronto goes up by 5. 106-101. Brooklyn, though, with a response. Mirza Teletovic outside, nails one there. 17 points off the bench. Kyle Lowry right back at him. Brooklyn and Toronto tied at 106, 110 to go in the game. Lowry way outside, difficult shot, but he nails the three-pointer there. Then Kyle Lowry behind his back, working in the paint, just push shot, and it is good. It's 111-108. The Toronto Raptors are in front. Now, DeMar DeRozan makes a pair of free throws that makes it a 5-point game. 17 seconds to go. Here comes the Brooklyn Nets down the court quickly. Darren Williams outside to Allen Anderson. Hoop and harm on a triple. An absolutely huge play. Anderson goes to the line and makes the free throw. That cuts the lead all the way down to 1. The team's going to the huddle. You see Toronto comes out with a pair of free throws. They go up by 3. And Brooklyn They get fouled. Andre Blatch made the first free throw. This is the second free throw. He misses that one. Loose rebound. Blatch tries to throw it back to Darren Williams, who has to circle backcourt to get it. Jonas Valanciunas tipped it before it went in. The shot was clearly off. In time, the question, was this ball tipped? The referees go to the monitor and determine that it was not tipped. So it's a backcourt violation on Brooklyn before the Jonas Valanciunas goaltend potentially that you see right there from Jonas. So it's Toronto's ball inbounding. They're up by 2, 1 second left, nearly stolen by Darren Williams, but Toronto hangs on by their fingernails to get the W by 2. Your final score, 115 to 113.
The Nets had never won a playoff series. They trailed 3-2. Step one, of course, tying things up, which they did tonight in Game 6. Different Darren Williams on the floor than the one we've seen the last couple of games. And a more aggressive approach from Joe Johnson and really all the guys in black and white.
Yeah, Brooklyn came out aggressive, took it to Toronto early, and they had to do that, get this team down early.
Paul Pierce knocking down a 3, and it's a 9-2 run early on. Jay-Z and Beyonce liking what they see. 14-point lead for Brooklyn already. DeMar DeRozan, no. In transition, D. Will for 3, and it's an 11-4 run. Jay-Z and Beyonce still like what they see. And apparently we like seeing them because we keep going back to the shot.
Well, if you say them, I'll say more 1 than the 2.
I get your drift. Brooklyn up by 19. DeRozan, boy, without DeMar DeRozan, Toronto would have been down 40 at halftime. DeRozan 18 at the half. And it was a 15-point lead at that point. Kyle Lowry misses. Allen Anderson, who got the start tonight for Jason Kidd, gets the rebound, and eventually he'll knock down the baseline jumper at the buzzer. He had 7 at the half. It was a 19-point Brooklyn lead. Third quarter. Here's D. Will. To the basket hard, but twists that left ankle. And remember, over the last, year and a half, 2 years, he has had so many ankle issues.
Yes, he has, and this is a tough one. And it's a quick turnaround for Game 7, and hopefully he can be healthy.
You see him limping. He would stick around and play through it. Nets keep moving it around. It's D. Will for 3. There he is.
That makes it feel a whole lot better when you knock down a wide-open corner 3.
That put them up by 25. They led by as many as 26 on that bucket for Paul Pierce. Kyle Lowry to Jonas Valanciunas, who was in foul trouble in the first half. That really hurt the Raptors. Got him going a little bit in the second half.
He got going, got a couple easy baskets. Toronto's making a run here, trying to get back in the game. We'll see if it's enough.
12-2 run got him within 16, but D. Will, ankle's just fine.
Yeah, they got an ankle again. It's really hurting this.
Put him back up by 20, but here come the Raptors. Gravis Vasquez, an 11-0 Toronto run. Stuff happens when Vasquez is in the game. Mirza Teletovic back rims it. Kevin Garnett battling Tyler Hansbrough. I was kind of asking rhetorically in the first half, which net would wind up scuffling with Tyler Hansbrough? The answer turned out to be Garnett.
Well, did it surprise you or does it surprise you?
No, not at all.
Okay.
Hansbrough, and for that matter, Garnett seemed to have that effect on opponents.
Yeah, he can do that to you every now and then, even in practice back in the day.
Kyle Lowry, a rare bucket in this game after a 36-point Game 5. That got him within 10. But here's Garnett out of the post over Valanciunas on the fadeaway. Put him up by 12. And then Vasquez can't get the floater to go. It bounces to Garnett. And on the other end, Williams for 3. And look who still enjoys it. There they are. You didn't think we were going to get through the highlight without seeing him again, did you?
Them or her. I mean, come on now.
Well, they're both in the shot.
Well, but you can just focus on, what you want to focus on.
Just tell you, it says Jay-Z and Beyonce here. I saw both. 97-83 was the final. Brooklyn was plus 16 in the paint, and Williams 23 equals his point total for the last 2 games. Bottom line, these two teams are headed back north of the border for Game 7.
One thing is, man, in the game today, we got to do what we do. If you're a rebounder, rebound. If you're a defender, defend. If you're a scorer, score. You know who you are. Let's don't get outside of what we do and what we've done all year in your role. All right, that's the most important thing. Now, whatever we do, again, stay disciplined. Stay disciplined. Things get erratic, get crazy out there. Stay disciplined. Stay together. Stay together, and we win this game.
The Brooklyn Nets or the Toronto Raptors will win a Game 7 for the first time in franchise history as we put a cap, really an exclamation point, on an extraordinary start to these NBA playoffs with 2 Game 7s here this afternoon. Awesome scene outside. Inside, though, focus from Dwayne Casey, the coach of the Raptors, to his players. Late in the clock, Williams to Pierce for 3. Paul Pierce, who has played in 8 Game 7s, more than the entirety of the Raptors team. We'll switch here as Ross guarding Johnson. Good ball movement by the Nets, and the former Raptor Anderson hits the 3. So the 5th-year man out of Michigan State into the game and shot clock here in this first quarter at the Air Canada Center in downtown Toronto. Clock at 5. Pierce on the pitch with the 3. Started and ends the quarter with 3s. Paul Pierce and corner. Garnett's second shot attempt and his first make as he was left free by Valanciunas. I was laughing because but keep a contact with the forearm. Now it is back to DeRozan. The double has to come. They go inside Garnett and 1 and a 3rd foul on Gravis Vasquez, who is really uptight, but he has been involved in mismatches and picked up the fouls here in this first half. Now the Raptors haven't hit 1. They're 0 for 7, but Amir Johnson got the rebound. Taken away by Livingston. KG running the floor with him. Livingston to the basket. I went out for dinner last night, and everyone wanted to talk about the Raptors. There's such a hunger for a champion in this city. This team trying to get a playoff series win.
Just skip Toronto. They have spent $68 million.
Right. Garnett from the top. Kevin Garnett. Pierce, no. Garnett tied up underneath, and the foul's called as Amir Johnson is there with him. And Amir will get whistled for it. He's got the Nets up 4. Pass deflected by Johnson. He's got it as he raced DeRozan, and Pierce to the basket to finish. And a good job by Joe Johnson.
Okay, 2 old-timers played that perfect.
Just like it was last night in Los Angeles. Good find. Garnett swung it. And the 3 is knocked down by Thornton.
Thank you, Mike. Paul, describe the impact that your bench has had, particularly Marcus Thornton with 14.
Oh, they've been huge. They've been able to come in and build the lead. Marcus giving us great energy, and that's what we're going to need. You know, sometimes in these Game 7s, you need some unsung heroes, and, you know, Marcus is that guy tonight. He's really stepping up for us, along with Sean Livingston.
You talked about Game 7 experience. So much has been said about you guys having much more than they have. If this game is close coming down the stretch, how do you think that the Game 7 experience that you guys have will come into play?
Well, I like our chances, you know. I think we're going to thrive in close games on the road. We're not going to get rattled. We have a lot of guys that have been in this situation before, so we're going to keep our poise and just keep trying to grind it out.
All right, thank you.
The depth of this team gave Jason Kidd the chance to regulate minutes. So there is something left with a day in between in these playoffs. This is the best I've seen Garnett look in this series. 4 of 5 from the field. Kevin has 10 points and 6 goals. Just saw Portland. You gotta give Rick Carlisle a lot of credit for the jobs he's done over the years. 4th quarter begins. Garnett off the bench, takes the feed from Livingston, and KG has 12 points and 7 boards. He looks spry and sharp in Game 7. Garnett on the switch, comes out on Lowry. Lowry tries to take him, gets in the lane, contact, and the takeaway by Brooklyn with Pierce.
Now, you have one of your best passers out of bounds, Vasquez.
With DeRozan. They have a timeout to use. Vasquez looking, still looking. Gets it to Lowry at 5 seconds. Lowry, Williams the tight defense. Here is Lowry on the deck through 2. Lowry put it up. It's blocked by Pierce, and the Nets win the series. As Paul Pierce, waiting in front of the rim, denies the shot and sends Brooklyn to the 2nd round.
Now, they got what they wanted. They wanted Lowry with the basketball. They wanted him to attack the rim. He got down inside, but then give the Nets credit. This is just an excellent defensive play, cutting off the lane, and then the block.
At the moment of truth, it was the truth. Paul Pierce. Listen to the fans salute their Raptors for a great season as you watch the ultimate play of the game. Clean block. Great rim protection.
Once again, they're old-timers.
Thank you, Mike. Paul, tell me what happened on that last play with the series on the line.
Well, you know, we got to do a better job first getting the ball in bounds. I got to do a better job sealing. But look, we said we're going to win this with our defense. Lowry, we knew he was going to try to get to the hole. It was a scramble for the ball. I saw him go up. I went up for the block. Clean block at the end. I mean, it was a great playoff series. These guys, they're going to be tough to beat in the near future.
You guys were up 10 with about 3 minutes to go. What happened?
You know, they're a grinded out team. They have so many fourth quarter comebacks. I just think we have to do a better job defending. They dug their heads, got to the basket, got some calls. Some calls didn't go our way, but that's the way the playoffs are. And we knew we was going to get their best. And it's a great, great series. I'm glad to be a part of it.
Andre Black's guaranteed this win. It wasn't as easy as he maybe thought it was going to be, but what gave you guys confidence you could come in here and win a Game 7?
Mental fortitude. We just had a mental capacity to come in here, had the toughness not to give in, not to think about what happened before last time we was here. And I just think that's our experience right there. We said at the beginning of the series to get on the Game 7 on the road, to get a win. Just got to have mental toughness, and we had it today.
Speaking of confidence, you now head to Miami. You swept them during the regular season. How do you like your chances?
Well, you know, they're a different team in the playoffs. You know, they're confident. They've won 2 championships in a row. But, hey, series is like this that to push you and push you to 7 games, get you ready for the next round. So we're going to be battle-tested going into Miami, I think.
Thank you. Congratulations, Paul.
All right, thank you.
Mike.
Lisa, 4 quick facts. The first Game 7 win in Nets history. The 24th Game 7 road win out of 118 tries. Jason Kidd, the first-year coach to win a Game 7 on the road. And for a team from Brooklyn, the first time since 1955 that they won a series. The Dodgers won the World Series over the Yanks that year with Hubie Brown and Lisa Salters. Mike Tirico. So long from Toronto. The Nets advance to see Miami. They win by 1. Spurs Mavs Game 7 next on ABC.
It's the 4th of a record-setting 5 first-round Game 7s. Toronto and Brooklyn. One franchise is going to win its very first Game 7. The winner gets the 2-time defending NBA champion Miami Heat. They're well rested. We pick it up in the first quarter early out where Amir Johnson was having a big game. Here he goes down as Terrence Ross, who's had a roller coaster of the series, hasn't performed real well in clutch spots, gets the bucket and the foul there. But now the concern is of Amir Johnson, who's battled ankle injuries all season long. But how about Johnson responding? He rips off 12 first-quarter points on 6 of 7, dominating the glass. And the paint was owned by Johnson. He scores 18 in the first half for Toronto. But here's the problem for Amir Johnson, foul trouble. He has 3 personal fouls in the first half alone. Now it's Joe Johnson's turn. He gets it to Kevin Garnett, who had 8 points and 5 rebounds in the half. Johnson, he's doubled. He knows to distribute the basketball, and boy, did he find the open man. The Nets making the extra pass. Everybody getting it done, and Johnson here, defense into offense, finds Paul Pierce, who had 10 first-half points. And then Johnson to KG to Marcus Thornton, who scored 14 of his 17 points in the first half. Nets get 27 bench points in the first half. And there's Knicks and, well, these guys would like to call him a Raptors legend, Charles Oakley. Nets led at 61-53 at the break. Joe Johnson, third quarter bucket. But then on the other end, before the quarter expires, Toronto methodically brings it up the court. They'd struggled all game long from downtown. Could this be the momentum changer? DeMar DeRozan hopes so. A 6-2 Toronto run to close the quarter gets the home team within 8. Now in the fourth, it's Joe Johnson. Says, I'm not passing anymore. Takes the game into his own hands. Nets up 90-79. Kyle Lowry no good. Joe Johnson rebounds. Amir Johnson falls on him, and Johnson's going to foul out, but some extracurricular activity. Johnson sustains what appears to be an ankle injury. Then Garnett receives a technical foul. But the bigger story here is Amir Johnson played just 22 minutes. He's done after scoring a career playoff high 20 points, pulled out 10 boards. How about Joe Johnson on the other end? He ripped off 11 straight points for the Nets. Johnson has Brooklyn up by 10 with 5 minutes to go. Could the Raptors respond to this? With the mismatch there, Joe Johnson buries it. On the other end, it's DeMar DeRozan driving. DeRozan, he's called for the offensive foul, and he's none too pleased. And he's called for a technical foul. But the Nets would miss the technical free throw. It's still 98-89. Now Kyle Lowry with just over 2.5 to go. Kyle Lowry using the window as his friend. It's a 5-point game. Nets basketball. Shot clock winding down. Joe Johnson, 13 of his 26 points coming in the fourth quarter, and with 2:04 to go, the Nets are up by 7. Kyle Lowry. Lowry brings it down court, and Lowry gets fouled well on the perimeter by Kevin Garnett. Lowry goes to the free throw line as the Nets can't believe it with 25 seconds to go. Lowry makes both on the inbound. Darren Williams gets it, and he gets fouled. But the Nets shoot just 5 of 9 from the stripe in the quarter. Darren Williams splits the pair. Nets up by 3 with 22.5 seconds to go. And now it's Toronto basketball with the score 102-99. So Toronto needing to make something happen. Do they go for the 3 and the tie, or do they go for a quick 2? Lowry takes it, drives. He had 13 in the fourth quarter. It's a 1-point game with 16.7 on the clock. Now fast forward a couple of seconds. 13 seconds left after Sean Livingston made a pair of free throws. Brooklyn up by 3. Terrence Ross. We showed you at the start of the highlight, Ross near the end he had 11 points in the game and makes it a 1-point game again. Ross counted upon late in the contest. Here the Nets trying to get it in, but Ross comes up with the big steal and then throws it off of Paul Pierce. Livingston forced it. Ross, a former slam dunk champion, he's got hops, and then throws it off of Pierce, who's standing out of bounds already. So it's Toronto basketball. 1-point game. Last chance for the Raptors to win it and advance. Game 7 comes down to Lowry driving, and Lowry gets denied. Paul Pierce. The truth is served right there with the block of the season. That saves the game for Brooklyn. Lowry gets denied right there. Paul Pierce says, not up in here. And the Nets win Game 7 for the first time in franchise history. How about their work on the glass? 16 offensive rebounds. Brooklyn takes on Miami. Game 1 of the second round Tuesday in downtown Miami.